Hi everyone, my name is Peggy and I'm here at the Brockville Museum in kind of a cool room. This is our collection room. This is where we store all the artifacts when they aren't on display. And have you ever really wondered how we know so much about our artifacts? Well, that's because we do something where we ask questions from the people who give us artifacts and of ourselves when we're researching things. We ask the W5. So that's, what is an object? Who gave us the object? When was the object made? Where was the object used? And why is that important? So when we ask these questions, we're able to get lots of different information that we can then share with you. And I have two examples here to kind of show you what I mean. So the first one we have here is, well, you might recognize it, you might not. It looks a little bit different from what we have today, but this is a rotary telephone. So you would use it by picking up your receiver, and then you would use the dial here to dial a number. So that is our what. What is this? This is a telephone. Well, the next question we would have is, well, who's it from? Well, actually, this telephone was used here in the museum. Before it was a museum, it was when it was offices for a different business. Who made it? Well, we actually know it was made by Rotary Telephone. That was a factory here in Brockville. When was it made? Well, we know from looking at different parts on the phone here that you probably can't see too well, but right there, it actually says 1968 and 1970. So this is a little bit of an older phone. And then the most importantly is why? Why is this important? Well, this is important because it tells us about how Brockville had different factories in its past that are no longer around. It tells us what those factories made, and it just gives us a little piece of Brockville's history that we can see and touch. So I also have a different example. Oops, these here. So these might look, maybe they're familiar to you, maybe they aren't. These are little wooden clogs. So that is our what are they? Well, who did they belong to? They belonged to a young boy. He grew up and he was known as Mr. Van Alden. And they are actually the shoes of one of our volunteers' fathers. So these shoes, well, where would they have been used? He used them in Holland when he was a young boy. So that's our when. When were they used? When he was very young, in about 1920, 1921. So these shoes are about 100 years old now. And they look pretty different from our shoes that we have today, don't they? These are kind of like rubber duckies or rubber boots, what you'd use when you don't want to get maybe your sneakers or your sandals or something like that mucky and wet. These would be what you would put on. And why are these important to us? Well, they're important because they show us about what was happening in Brockville. Mr. Van Alden grew up in Holland, so that's nowhere near Brockville. He had to move to Brockville from a different country, so he was an immigrant. And these shoes came with him even though he was a grown-up and they didn't fit him anymore. So they show us that story of people moving to Brockville, and they show us how different people brought things from their home countries and they would use them here. And sometimes that means that things would look a little bit different, but that's never a bad thing, is it? So what I want you guys to do is look around your homes and find something that that's important to you. It could be a sweatshirt, it could be a toy, it could be a decoration, and I want you to figure out the W5s of it. The who, the what, the when, the where, and the why. Then you can share that information with us here at the museum. Get your parents to help you answer some questions, take a picture, and then we can all see and have this really cool show and tell kind of idea. So parents, if you're interested in helping out your kids with this, go to our event page on the Brockville Museum Facebook page, and it is called Museum from Home for Kids. And this will have a worksheet and more information, and I hope to see all your different entries soon. Bye everyone!